You're listening to the home of all things Lindenwood sports. It's the Lions Den on KCLC HD3 The Tower and on the Roar Network YouTube channel.
Alrighty, good evening, Lindenwood University, and welcome to the Lions Den. I am Justin Powell. I am here with my co-host, James. And also, we have Molly Henderson of the Lindenwood Lions women's hockey team. Molly, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So, James, why don't you give a rundown of the show real quick, and we'll just jump straight into the interview.
Of course. So, if you've never tuned into the show before, every week we try to have a new athlete on the show, get their perspective on things, and then once they're done with their interview, we'll jump into all of the current NCAA team sports on campus, give you our thoughts and opinions on them, as well as news. And we actually have some news outside of the teams this week. We got some upcoming stuff with some soccer news and some baseball news. So, a bit out of season and the team upcoming.
Yeah.
But without further ado, I think we should get into that interview.
Yes, sir. Alrighty, so first question, we're going to kind of get into the backstory, how you got into it, but more importantly, how would you describe yourself as a hockey player, I guess overall in the past, present, and possibly in the future even?
Yeah, I'd say I'm just a very competitive player. I love to work hard and just go out there and do the best and be the best leader I can, be the best player I can, and yeah, that pretty much sums it up.
So how did you get into hockey, and when did you start taking it seriously?
I started playing hockey when I was 7. My dad played hockey, and he always wanted me to play hockey, but I was like, I don't know. I don't really know if it's a sport for me. So then I tried soccer, and that really wasn't the sport. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll try hockey. Tried hockey, and then I just fell in love with it. And then I've been playing competitive since I was 8 years old. So 14 years now.
Oh, wow.
So what's the story with soccer? How long did you play that, and when did you know it wasn't really your thing?
Well, I played when I was very young, so maybe 5 or 6, and then I just picked it up again senior year of high school. Well, I was gonna play in COVID, so my junior year, but then it got canceled, and then senior year I just picked it up, just something to stay active, be with my friends from high school, just be in better shape for hockey, and that was really all it was. It was just a fun activity to stay in shape and hang out with some school friends. But other than that, soccer is not my sport.
Well, were you JV, varsity? Where were you at on that team?
Well, we have a very small high school, so I was on we only had one team, varsity. Mm-hmm. So I was on starting varsity, but I was second best on my team. So I guess that could show you something about how good our team is.
Okay. And I got one more question before I hand it back over to you. You played for a club team in high school. You said you didn't have a team there. And then you also were playing in the USA Hockey Girls National Championships. That's a mouthful, but still a very cool experience. What was your experience at that level, and what did you learn while you were there?
Yeah, it was an awesome experience. Just the Chicago Mission program, who I played AAA for, it was super cool. They have such good coaches, a good college coordinator who helped me find my eventual college. And yeah, just really great players that they're bringing in, and they do a really good job developing you from a young age and bringing you to certain tournaments so you can get recruited, just helping you make those connections with other coaches. And yeah, it was awesome. We would always go to the USA National Championships at the end of the year. We were very fortunate to travel to some really cool places. And yeah, we never won, but we got third, I think, a few times. So it was pretty cool.
And, you kind of mentioned how, it helped you sort of learn about certain colleges, reach out to colleges and all that. How did you land on Lindenwood? Because I'm sure Lindenwood wasn't the only one trying to recruit you. So how did you end up coming here to St. Charles?
Yeah, so the recruiting process was very different back when I was being recruited. So this was before the rule change, and at that point, you could get recruited 7th, 8th grade. So that's when I started talking to colleges. Yeah, it's actually really crazy now that you bring it up and think about it, just because so many people don't know that. Yeah. But yeah, I started my recruiting process in 7th, 8th grade, and I was originally committed to another school, and then the rule changed. And then once the period where you can talk to colleges again, I just decided to part ways with the other school. And then Lindenwood reached out, and I came and toured. I knew a couple people already on the team just from them being from Chicago Mission previously. So yeah, I came back and visited, and I really liked it. I loved the campus is beautiful, and they were just building a new rink, so that was super awesome. And yeah, just all the buildings and staff here are awesome, so it's a perfect fit.
Okay.
I'm sure we have a lot of people who have probably not interacted with the hockey world with collegiate hockey, tuning in. I mean, Red Cup Wood, we were on their story, so I'm sure there's people there that are not paying attention to this.
Yeah.
With the recruiting process changing, can you tell us what was it kind of like before, what changed, and what's it like now?
Yeah, so when I was going through it, they could you could reach out to them, and they could reach out through our college coordinator, basically, and they would set up calls for you. And then that was how you would communicate with them. You'd set up a call time, you'd call them, and then you would just go from there in the recruiting process. Now, I think it's June 15th, going into your junior year, is when you can first start talking to college coaches. So it's way later. I think it's really good, actually. I wish that was the case for me when I was first going through it. I think it just takes a lot of stress off your first years of high school, and it allows you to live a little bit more in those first college years, and then you don't really have to worry about the stresses of picking a college at such a young age, and especially when you're just not at that maturity level and just don't know about anything that you're getting into. So I think it's really good for all the younger kids now who are going to go through the college recruiting process, and just that it's later in their high school career, and they have more time to prove themselves and choose more wisely about what school they would like to attend in the future.
Yeah, I was about to say, you said 7th and 8th grade is when they started reaching out to you. I had no idea that was even allowed. So the fact that they changed that to kind of after junior year, I appreciate that you kids are able to enjoy the angst of freshman year without already having to add more college stuff onto that. I think the last sort of thing that we want to talk about with recruiting is, I know we kind of asked Gio about it from the men's hockey team last season, how he's a little bit on the shorter side of the prospects, and they kind of like some of the bigger people, so that way they can push them over. Was that ever an issue with your recruiting process, or was it they saw your technical ability and they judged you off your technical ability?
Yeah, I don't think I ever really had an issue. I think I play a bigger game than what my actual frame shows, so I don't think I play a 5-4 game. I think I play a much bigger game than that. So I haven't really had any issues, and then physicality-wise, that really hasn't been an issue either. I just try to use my speed to my advantage, and yeah, it's nice that we don't have hitting, so I can see where Gio may have found some trouble with that in the men's hockey realm, but no, not really too many issues on the women's side.
Well, I've heard from a lot of people that you are one of the faster people on the team. If you had to rank yourself against your teammates, who would you say is the fastest, or is it you?
I don't know. I think I am up there. There might be one of our freshmen. She's super speedy, so I think she might beat me in that category. But
I was about to say, have y'all ever had just after practice, you still got the skates on, you just go out on the ice, have a quick race across the rink real quick?
Not too much, but when we will skate and condition, she's always the first one, and I'm just looking over there and I'm like, yeah, you're just really fast. So, yeah, she's probably the fastest.
Well, coming into this year, I just want to ask you, what goals did you set for yourself? I mean, this is your senior year, your last year of collegiate eligibility, and what goals did the coach set for the team?
I don't think I had very many specific goals. I think just coming into my senior year, trying to make the most of it, trying to put up as many points as I could, obviously, and just trying to help the team in whatever way I could. Obviously, leadership was a big thing for me. Coming back as an assistant captain again, that was super important to me, and being able to lead all the younger girls and hopefully develop some of our newer captains into being super great leaders for this team in the future years. So I'd say maybe not necessarily hockey-wise, but more on a personal level and with the team were more of my goals. And then just with our coach, just having the best year we can. We had a rocky year last year, and that happens in college sports, but just trying to come back and prove that we're one of the top teams in our league and just trying to go out there and show it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are about midway in the AHA standings this year, and I know for you didn't set many goals, but I don't know what they personally were, but maybe you've exceeded them. Because, look, 10 points in 31 games last year. You've almost doubled that in less games this year. What changed for you, and how are you finding so much success?
Honestly, I don't really know. I would say in my first years I wasn't really much of a goal scorer, and now we're just putting a lot of pucks in the back of the net. I'd say I have really good players playing with me this year. They're just finding me in good spots, and yeah, I'm just able to bury those. So a lot of credit to my team. Obviously, like, wouldn't be putting up the points that I am without them. So yeah.
Very nice. So I know you said you're an assistant captain. So would that kind of put you in that, like, big leadership role within this team? Like, last year you're in that, having to wear that special patch on your jersey. Does that kind of, like, force you into that leadership? Did you, like, really want that leadership? And how has that been to, like, kind of take the freshmen and all them under your wing?
It's been pretty good. Like, we haven't really had any issues, and it's something, like, I think leading just comes naturally, and it's not something I was like, I just really want to be a captain, but it's just something that happened, and I've been very fortunate to have been selected by the coaches and the players, and they believe in me to help lead the team, and I really have good support systems, like with my captain. We started the year just the two of us, and then we were able to expand our leadership group from there in the second semester. So that's just been really great to have some additional help, but also just kind of mentor them into what they'll have next year when Josie and I leave.
Yeah. So last year your team only had one double-digit score. This year, though, you have three, with a possible fourth joining y'all in those ranks. What sort of changed from last year going into this year offensively to where you guys are finding the back of the net so aggressively?
I think just a lot of the chemistry is clicking. I think our lines have stayed together more this year than they have in the previous years. So that really helps, just knowing, like, what players you're playing with and building that chemistry throughout multiple weekends and not just one weekend, say. So also we've just gained, like, a lot of young freshman talent in the two Slovakians girls. So just adding those two, and Paz has also found a really good connection with them on the first line. So, they're doing awesome, and they're putting up a lot of points. So, just two good additions, and we have a lot of goal scorers now. So
Recruiting helps.
Yeah,
It most certainly
does help. So, looking a little bit further ahead, what do you think going forward this team needs, or even just for the rest of the season, to sort of improve upon the performances you guys have had, or to even possibly make, like, the AHA tournament possibly this year, or even, like, winning the thing next year?
Yeah, I think a lot of what's been talked about is just continuing to play how we're playing. We need to really take advantage of our special teams. Our power play needs to capitalize when they're taking penalties, and we need to stay out of the box. I think staying out of the box has been sort of an issue for us this year. So just trying to stay disciplined, and we're playing for each other and not just trying to take dumb penalties and being lazy in that regard. So just trying to stay out of the box, really. Not really changing much, just knowing that every game that we're going to have for the rest of the season is going to be hard, and we need to show up every day ready to work. And when we get to games, we just need to play our game and not really worry about who we're playing, but stick to our game plan, and just hopefully we stay successful the rest of the season.
Well, you bring up some of those special team struggles. In your opinion, what have been some of the things that have held back the special teams for the squad this year?
I think finding the connection on the power play has been difficult, but we've scored, I think, 3, almost 4 goals in the past 2 weekends on the power play. The past 2 weekends, so just keeping that going. Our connection has been off the charts with that recently. And then just on the other side, we just really need to stay out of the box. We just can't be taking penalties or retaliation penalties if teams get chippy. We just have to keep playing through it, even if the refs aren't aren't on our side. Just battling through that and staying disciplined.
And then can you take me through the back end of the Syracuse game, the first Syracuse game? A lot of penalties there right at the end. Of course, I can't watch the game. I don't have Flow Hockey. I wish I did. There's also nowhere to pirate it. So I couldn't watch that game. But I'm looking at the box score, seeing a lot of penalties late. What kind of happened there?
I think we got a close game, and then we just kind of let our foot off the gas, and they're a good team, so they're obviously going to keep battling to stay in the lead, and we might have just gotten lazy on a few plays or just been a little careless in our decision-making. So it happens, but, I mean, we bounced back the next day, and there were a lot of penalties on their side, but we were able to stay out of it for the most part, so that was good to see that growth in such a short time.
And then the second game of that series, first 2 periods, it's really close hockey, a lot of shots on both sides, and the third period comes around. You show up, 2 goals, 2 assists. Where did that kind of come from, and how were you able to just put it all together there in the third?
I mean, I don't really know. I didn't really change much. I was just like, I think in the locker room, we were just like, we win the period, we win the game, and we just went out there. We were fortunate to have a really good start off the first shift, won the draw, and then just got a lucky bounce into like a breakaway. So we just capitalized on our opportunities, I think, and we hadn't done that in the first 2 periods or the first game of the series. So just bearing pucks and getting pucks to the net, and Lexi played great behind us, so it was really good.
Yeah, she had one heck of a weekend. Personally, I know you won Player of the Week last week on the show. I voted for her this week, but the people don't want to spoil it, but she did seem to get a lot of votes in this week's poll.
So, talking about seeding and talking about going forward into the AHA tournament, you guys are actually going to be playing RIT coming up. How do you and your team view the matchup, and what should people expect out of the Lindenwood Lions going into this weekend?
Yeah, we expect it to be a super close series this weekend. It'll be exciting. We're at home. Our second game's our cancer awareness game, so we're expecting a lot of people to come out, support that, be there, cheer us on. But besides that, it's a big conference weekend. We know that we need these points in conference, and our goal is home ice for playoffs, and we need these points. So just coming into the game focused, dialed in on the details. Staying out of the box will be crucial, but not changing anything from last week.
Yeah.
Well, Justin, I got to ask you, are you available this weekend?
Shockingly, I might actually have a free weekend. So
we might have some plans then.
We might need to actually recruit people to go watch hockey.
Really should do that. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, if you're listening to the show tonight, we're going to get the dates and times to you later. Yeah, show up and support these teams. I know that it's a big thing. It's a big draw for recruiting. So if you're at home and interested in these games, there's only a few home games left on the men's side and the women's side. So please just come out and support. Plus, if you're a student, it's free. I know the website's kind of annoying to use at times, but it's worth it.
A little bit of annoyance for a free ticket. Yeah, I think it's fine.
Just power through it. All right. We got some fun questions before we end the interview here today. And I got to ask you, what has been your favorite memory as a Lindenwood Lion?
Oh, there's been a lot of really good memories. I think maybe 2, but so my sophomore year, we're at home, opening series, we swept Bemidji. That was pretty exciting. It was our coach's first weekend as our head coach, and we got 2 wins right off the start. So that was pretty cool. And then I'd say our icebreaker tournament, that was pretty fun. We went out to Sacred Heart in Connecticut, and just being out there, I've never been to that school, so that was pretty cool too.
Nice.
And then I also got to ask, if you were in charge of the entire women's hockey scene, like you are top dog, what is one thing you would change across the board?
That's hard. I mean, hitting is a big topic in women's college hockey and just women's hockey in general. So I guess probably if I was way up there in the ranks, probably looking at that and just seeing how we could adjust that to let more body contact or hits start to slide or make it a rule that it's allowed. So
you lean more towards the hitting side?
I do and I don't. I think if I were to change one thing, it would be in regards to that. But I think there are pros and cons to both sides. And from like a developmental standpoint, just working with like younger girls and a lot of younger kids, you need to start that from a very young age. It just can't be switched automatically. And that's what a lot of people don't realize is they just think that they can just change the rule and everything is going to be good in hockey. But I think there will be a lot of problems if they were to do that. Just because, like, I mean, on the boys' side, at least, you start checking when you turn 14. So they, like, develop that over the years. And if you're just automatically switching that from right now, then you lose that development on how to hit and when the proper times are to hit and how to take a hit or make a play around a hit. So I think, yes, I think it could be a really good some like an aspect that could be added to the game, and I think it would draw a lot more fans just because the physical aspect is so crucial to like the good fan experience. But I think there's also a lot that will need to play into the behind the scenes part of that.
I'm sure we could talk about this all day. I got one final thing on it. You think that maybe they could set a specific date in the future and say, all right, girls, before this date, start learning. After this date, no, just to give some development time. Do you think that would work? Do you see any drawbacks there?
I could see it working, and I think that's how they would have to do it if they were going to change the rule. I'm not really sure, like, timeline-wise. I know there are so many talks about it, and I even worked, like, some of the USA hockey camps, and, like, all the college coaches are there, and a bunch of the USA national team coaches and under-18 coaches are there, and they're all debating it. And it's just a really big topic, honestly, and it's so split. Like, everybody sees both sides, I think, and so, yeah, I think if they were to change it, like, they would definitely need to set a date in place, but I guess we'll never know if it's going to happen or not.
So, kind of going into that and, different rule changes, and we don't really know what the future will hold for just about any of these sports, really. But for you personally, where do you see or where would you like to see this women's hockey team in about 5 years' time?
Yeah, I think this team could be super successful in the future. Our coach is doing a great job recruiting and bringing in new talent. So we just seem to keep getting better every year. And she talks about the recruits coming in, and I won't be here, but I can just tell that they're going to have a lot of compete in them and a lot of skill with them. So I think it's on the up for Lindenwood women's ice hockey.
Very nice. Now, we did say fun questions. However, this one might be a little bit nerve-wracking, and I apologize in advance. You are a senior. It is your last year. Where do you see your future hockey career? Or do you envision a future hockey career?
Probably not. I think I'm going to have to hang up the skates pretty soon. But, I mean, I plan to go to grad school at Logan University. I just got accepted.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I just got accepted there, and, I mean, coaching has always been a passion of mine, so I would like to stay involved, like, in the coaching aspect.
That'd be awesome.
Maybe with the youth, some of the girls' teams around here, there's so many teams that I could coach, but...
About to say, you're such a great player. Losing hockey entirely, that just seems... terrible.
Yeah, that would be really hard, but definitely want to stay involved in the game. But playing-wise, not in the cards right now. But
I feel like we should have asked this earlier, but what is your major? And if hockey's not in the cards later on, where do you want to go career-wise?
So I'm an exercise science and health and wellness double major.
Okay.
And career-wise, I want to be a chiropractor. So, yeah, going to Logan to hopefully get my doctor of chiropractic, and then I would like to be a chiropractor.
Dude, people this age are sleeping on chiropractic care.
I know.
They really are.
I felt like it was an old person thing, and then I got in the chair a few times, and it's really helped me out in a lot of ways. So we need more chiropractors.
Exactly.
So thank you for going into that field.
Yeah.
So, final question, and it's the cap-off question that we ask all the athletes, and it is quite simply, what is something that you wish the just common person understood a little bit more about hockey, women's hockey specifically, that they may not know about as well?
That's a hard question. Maybe just go to a game. I feel like most people don't even know that much about hockey, and especially women's hockey, and they're always just like, even my roommates, like I live with 3 rugby girls, and they just have so many questions. So I'm like, you just have to go to a game, watch it, experience it for yourself. And yeah, I think you'll fall in love with it.
I was about to say, we talked to Helena Dublé and Amy Bryce last semester, and we asked them the same thing about women's rugby of what is something they wished, and they pretty much said the same thing. Go to a game and you will understand it a lot better. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a great answer.
Or volunteer to help broadcast a game.
Volunteer to help broadcast.
I'm trying to get some more of the men's games broadcasted for a capstone this year, and he helped me out with the last one. So,
gotcha.
But thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate it. I know today was busy. Everything was last second for all of us. So thank you for making it work. I'll walk you guys out. And Justin, why don't you take our viewers into the den?
Gladly.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. All right, everybody. We are going to go into the Lion's Den.
It's time to go inside the Lions Den and break down every current Lindenwood sports team.
Alrighty, so they are out of the studio currently. They are going to go ahead and talk about it. However, we're going to go ahead and break down men's basketball a little bit while we're here. So, let's be honest, this was the worst weekend ever to have a home series. Not because of the opponents or anything or whatever, but it was cold here in St. Charles and absolutely horrendous weather-wise. I think everybody still knows it because of all the ice and the snow that is still everywhere on campus. However, I digress. That has nothing to do with the beautiful game of basketball. Lindenwood looked great Thursday against Texas Tech University with the final score coming to 89-68, with Anais Futrell being an absolute monster for the Lions with a stat line of 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. Saturday, not as optimistic, with the score actually coming to 86-96 in favor of Tennessee State. Anais, though, made back-to-back games with 25 points on the weekend. So, overall, pretty good weekend for Mr. Futrell. However, James, you want to break us down analytically on how those two games looked for the weekend?
Well, I do, but you got to get out of my seat first,
I will get out of your seat, I
Mr.
promise.
Justin. All right. Well, let's make sure we got levels good here. Let's get the mics the right spot.
Oh, my God.
Just walked them out, but we are back. So, last few games for us. Certainly a very up and down week that we just had on the men's basketball side. Let's just be real here. Tennessee Tech, they're kind of buns.
Yeah.
Like, they're not a very good basketball team. It felt like we were playing a D2 or an NAIA at times during the game. And that's not like straight up disrespect. That is just how I saw it.
It's a little disrespect.
But
it's Tennessee Tech.
I'm not saying their program is bad. I'm not saying the players are bad. But the way they played in that one, they just did not look competitive. And Lindenwood took advantage of that all the way through. It was such an unserious game that myself and the rest of the broadcast crew, we set an over-under at 100 points with 4 minutes and 7 seconds left at 89 points. I saw the bench coming in. I took the under. The entire lineup subbed out. No points for the final 4 minutes in that one. So the bench is still a problem. You can look at the second game of this series and say maybe it's not. They put up 20 points, but it was really one guy doing the carrying here. So some of the guys on the bench just not ready to contribute yet. But the team, big dub, a lot of points scored in that one. Scoreline looks closer than what it really was. It was complete domination from start to finish. Now, Tennessee State, they are a really, really good basketball team. They're fast. They're efficient. Their advantage in this one, they shot the ball 10 more times. That was literally it. They had 10 more shots that they got off. They possessed the ball more because they move fast. They do not take the shot clock down. They attack the basket every single time they come in. They made 10% more shots than us in this game because they're just fast and efficient, and they speed everybody else up. You could see Lindenwood in this one trying to play at their speed at times. That's not something you can do when you're playing against one of the faster teams in the country. So I think that was one of the big problems for Lindenwood in this one, was just the mistakes that were made. You look at the first half of the game, only shooting 30% from three. Not hateful, but you're going to need a good shooting day to deal with the Tennessee State. Didn't get it. And here's a stat courtesy of Truman Griesel. We showed it on the broadcast. In losses this season for the Lions, Futrell was shooting 25% from three. In wins, he is averaging 44.7% from three. So if he's having a good three shooting day, more often than not, Lindenwood's going to win. In this one, yeah, he shot 30%, but he basically went over for the entire first half of the game. Lindenwood couldn't get it done from 3. They kept it close as long as they could, but you look at the end of this game, they looked tired. They looked gassed. You're playing a team that is so physical, so downhill, that can just play the entire game at full speed, no matter what, and they're not going to make many mistakes for what they are. Like, yeah, you look at the numbers. Yeah, they'll turn it over, but they also get way more possessions than everyone else because they're just go, 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 go. And that wears you down.
Oh, yeah.
Like, late in the game, everything was open. It was open threes, and then Lindenwood would try to spread out, and then the paint would just get destroyed. And, I mean, Tennessee State, I believe in this one, only 2 points off the bench. Their starters just gave us the business for 40 minutes straight. All right, that was a lot of negative. Let me give some positives. 90% on free throws. Very nice. I was not expecting that.
There you go.
Kept the game close, or at least looking close late in the game, because that's kind of how Lindenwood scored a lot of their points in the second half, was just free throws. 21 points off the bench, a little deceiving. One man basically doing it all. I understand that. But getting any production off the bench, we will take. Although it comes at the cost of usually one of the starters not playing that well, and then you have to bring in Clayton Jackson, and he has to be the cleanup crew for the team. So deceiving, but it's still a good number. We're trying to stay positive here. And final positive, we scored more than Tennessee State's average in conference play. We scored more than the average team. We also gave up more points than the average team. But that's a negative, and we don't do negative on this section.
Technically, they even out, though. We were outscoring them. Even though we were getting scored on, we were outscoring it. So, silver linings, positives and negatives.
We scored enough points to win. It's just you're playing a team that can score at will. Their entire starting lineup is incredible at basketball. They're a more established program. They've been D1 for a longer time. Lindenwood just has some holes right now. I thought maybe they could overcome it and impose their will, play their style. It just didn't work out. Tennessee State was a better team.
I'll say, it's a 10-point game. It could have went either way. Sure, Lindenwood felt a little gas near the end, and that probably did sort of, hurt them. However, look at the date and everything. They were supposed to start much later in the evening. They probably would have gotten a little bit more rest or whatever, because you got to think, some of those guys, they wake up first thing in the morning, go get a workout, whatever. They have that little bit of a day to, have a break and just sort of have that. This game had to start earlier because the weather here was atrocious, and it was a home series. So Thursday, that was before anything hit. Everybody was fine. Saturday, they had to move it forward. They were still playing in the middle of a snowstorm. So I'm not necessarily making excuses, but I will say those few hours where they probably could have gotten a little bit more, maybe a little bit more, film time, maybe a little bit more rest, maybe just some time to kind of get out of their head or not even worry about other stuff, could have been that 10-point difference.
I don't know. As someone who watched the game start to finish, it just felt inevitable towards the end. And maybe you're right. Maybe it was rest. We did move up the start times an hour.
Yeah.
And then the women's game was just weird pacing. It was fast, but then there was a billion whistles in it. And then the end of the men's game, it was Tennessee State scores, whistle, free throws, score, free throws, Lindenwood missed possession. It was just a weird ending. Mm-hmm. And you could tell the team just wasn't quite themselves. But that's not the last game of the year. We got more games coming up, and hopefully we can get this thing back on track. So, Justin, what do we got coming up?
So let me tell you about these next two games that are going to be this weekend. That's right. So Thursday, we have USI, University of Southern Indiana, in Evansville, Indiana. That start time is going to be 7:30 p.m. So unless you want to take the drive to Indiana, which, it's not a bad state, but I personally don't think I'd want to go to Indiana right now. You could go to Indiana, or you could just watch it on ESPN Plus from the comfort of your own home. And then on Saturday, we have Morehead State University. Both conference opponents, however, Morehead will be played in Morehead, Kentucky at 3:30 p.m., and it's saying 2:30 p.m. Central here, so it's possible 2:30 start time for us because we are CST. So 2:30 p.m.
Are they Eastern?
I think they're
Is Moorhead Eastern?
Yeah, they
I think
are.
isn't the line
They're
in Indiana?
because they're like all the way. Yeah, because Ohio. If you think Columbus, Ohio is an hour ahead of us, and Kentucky's on the
Okay.
other side of it. So okay, yeah,
The right time will be on the school's website for athletics.
110%. But 2:30 p.m. right here, if you want to watch it on ESPN Plus. Now, I want to give a subtle brag. Last week, I went 0-2 on my the week before, week 1, I went 0-2 on my basketball predictions. However, last week, your boy went 2-0. I learned from my mistakes and got the big W. So we're going to continue that, actually.
Oh, are we now?
Oh, we are. We are. I'm going to be 4-2 by next week by the time we do the show again. Just you watch. W at Southern Indiana and a win at Moorhead State. Both of them. Southern Indiana is a 5-15 program with a 2-8 conference record. Already lost to Lindenwood 83-80 earlier in the year. It's a little bit too close for comfort, but a win is a win no matter how you slice it. So that's just how I view that. Southern Indiana get to play in their home arena, but they are 3-6 at home. So that kind of seems like a moot point. Like, they might be able to play at home, but they're twice as likely to lose in their own home than win. So, I think Lindenwood's got that one. Moorhead, however, is sitting at an even 11-10 overall, but an impressive 7-3 within the OVC conference. When they played the Lions, though, earlier this season, they lost 77-64, a lot more decisively than Southern Indiana. And unlike Southern Indiana, though, Moorhead is 7-1 at home, so that could spell trouble for the Lions, especially with them having a long weekend on the road. They already start their traveling. They'll probably start traveling tomorrow if they're not already on the road right now. So they're going to have a whole week of travel to where they're going to have to go to Indiana and then farther out East Coast. But I don't think they'll be daunted by that. I think they will be perfectly fine. And I think they pick up the W at Moorhead. What do you think?
I am going to agree with you on both of those things. We're going W and W. If you can't beat
Just
them,
saying.
join them. So you're looking at University, Southern Indiana. They've lost by an average of 7 points against teams not named Tennessee Tech and Western Illinois. They beat both of those. We've established both of those teams, not very good. They're playing top teams closely because they are solid defensively. They rebound well. They don't score, though. They don't. They just straight up do not score. They also don't make shots. They are the 6th worst team in the country at field goal percentage.
Oh, no.
They do not shoot the ball. 38% on the year, and they are in the top 100 for field goal attempts. So, yeah, they don't make it, but they try to make up for it and just shooting the ball a whole lot and hoping that'll work and trying to even out the averages there, which currently they are second in OVC play, only behind Lindenwood in field goal attempts. So Lindenwood also shooting the rock a whole lot, but we've also been putting up a lot of points, unlike them. So I'm looking at this. I'm saying Lindenwood, we make better shots. We are a better all-around team. We are still a turnover-prone team, but we are less turnover-prone than they are. So I think we're going to get the dub in that one, despite being on the road in Indiana. Now, Moorhead State, scary team. They do a lot of good things. You look at their whole team, they're well-balanced. They do the things you expect a solid OVC basketball team to do. And I still look at them and say, are you legit? Yeah. Because 6 of their wins were versus the bottom 7 in the conference.
That's not a vote of confidence on that team.
Right. It's like the New England Patriots. You know they're good.
Oh.
Beat somebody.
I saw the funniest. We're going to get sidetracked a little bit, speaking of the Patriots, because, they're in the Super Bowl again, and neither one of us like that, especially not the Bills fan sitting across from me right now.
Yeah, the one wearing a Bills hoodie.
Yeah. The Patriots, if they were not playing the Bengals and Jets this season, they played a team that fired their head coach. Every other team that it was not the Bengals or the Jets fired their head coach.
And the Bengals should have fired theirs.
Yeah, the Bengals should have. Don't remind me. That's my demerit right now as we go into this conversation.
Hey,
but
You didn't fire your head coach, and I hired a head coach over on my team that I don't like. So we're both unhappy.
I'll ask you about that after the show. I have questions. Anyway, back to basketball, though. Back to Lindenwood basketball.
Okay, so they, 6 wins versus the bottom 7. They're beating the bottom feeders. Good teams have to do that. They can't change their schedule. They're also 1-2 versus the top 4 teams. I say top 4 because Lindenwood's technically kind of in there, and whatever. Their only win against top teams in the entire conference this year was versus Little Rock, and they had their worst shooting game of the entire year, bar none. They could not shoot the basketball. Given Moorhead does that to a lot of teams. They are very good defensively, but then you look at the game that Lindenwood beat them in. We didn't have Jadis Jones. We didn't have one of our best players playing, and we still gave him belts. And their entire starting lineup played. So we get Jadis Jones in here. We have a more confident group, a more well-rounded group, a team that is now used to conference play. Now, given they have the same advantage, they're used to it. They're well set. They were winning a lot of games. And they also had 3 straight wins coming into this one. Then they got a game before us. Mm-hmm. Both teams are hot. Both teams are ready to go. But I think Lindenwood's the better team.
Yeah.
I still don't know, though. I'm on the fence. I'm giving them the win. I really want to give Lindenwood the win on this. I think they can do it. Look at this team. And you have to ask, is Aeneas going to shoot good from 3? That's the difference maker. It always seems to be the difference maker. This is a team that just took Tennessee State to overtime and then just won 3 straight.
Yeah.
They're good. I mean, Lindenwood got boat raced. Like, it was a boat race because it was a fast game and it really wasn't close. Like, the scoreline close. It wasn't. Tennessee State just did that to us. This team took Tennessee State to OT. Says a lot about them.
Yeah.
Says a little bit about us. But give me the Lions. I think they get this one done. I mean, they're turnover prone. They allow a lot of points. We're a team that's also turnover prone, but we do it less than they do, and we love to score, and we score in bunches. So I'm taking the Lions.
Well, we talked about Tennessee Tech and Tennessee State on the men's side, so let's go ahead and talk about Tennessee Tech and Tennessee State on the women's side of the basketball spectrum. So women's basketball, they're currently at 15-6 after picking up the win against both OVC opponents in Tennessee Tech and Tennessee State. They beat Tennessee Tech with a final score of 66-55, with almost half the points coming from the standout graduate student Alicia Jones. She posted 32 points, with Coffee backing her up with 12 rebounds. The Tennessee State game was an absolute BTA game, and I do say that with the utmost sincerity with that. Though with the score ending up at 91-58. I think that warrants the
It was not
the
close.
title. This game, though, the roles were reversed between Coffee and Jones, as Coffee put up 24 points and Jones backed her up with 7 rebounds. So we also decided to put in here, Brooke Coffee was named the OVC Player of the Week, and Alicia Jones was named the Newcomer of the Week this week. Now, Brooke Coffee has won Player of the Week 2 times in a row, and Alicia Jones was tabbed Newcomer for the 4th time this season. These two are absolute standout players for the women's basketball team, and especially coming out of that strong performance this weekend. James, why don't you give us some of the stats on that and show us just how good they were this weekend?
Well, first of all, I would like to apologize to Brooke Coffee because I put Alicia Jones in the poll for Player of the Week.
Yeah.
Not the one that won Player of the Week for the conference.
Yeah.
I saw it differently. I think that Alicia Jones probably deserved it, but Brooke Coffee played more consistently between the 2 games. I think that's probably how the OVC saw it in that one. Dropping 30 and just being a complete force and a menace on the court versus just being consistent. One was a bit more flashy. Alicia Jones stood out to me. That's not a shot at either one because both played incredible.
They're both absolutely amazing players.
But this week, it was kind of a story of hot and cold, especially with that first game against Tennessee Tech. It felt like a trap game. It was a scrappy game. The first quarter and the third quarter, Lindenwood shot 0 for 10 from 3. In those quarters, they had a -8 point differential. When the threes aren't coming, the team is losing.
Yeah.
That's been a story of the entire season on both the men's and the women's side. In the second and the fourth quarters, Lindenwood was 6 of 9 from 3. Much better. Actually, really, really good. 66% is very, very solid. And we had a plus 19 differential in those quarters.
Yeah.
That's how this team plays. The stats back it up. And a big part of that in this game was Ellie Brueggemann. She was 0 for 4 from 3. She had been going through it up to this point. She had a few games where she was just hot and cold, and it wasn't the Ellie we were used to. So, who's going to take over? Who's going to make the threes? It was Alicia Jones, of all people. 5 for 7 from 3, 15 points in the fourth quarter alone. Yeah, she took over.
Oh, yeah.
She came in, did really good in the first half. Third quarter, still, she was still competitive the entire game. I'm not going to say that she only showed up in the fourth because she had 30-something points. Come on. But that is exactly what the team needed in that moment. And at the end of the game, you didn't have to worry. It didn't feel close. Lindenwood ran away with it. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You had a scrappy team on the other side. You took care of business, even if it was a bit close at times. Now, the Tennessee State game. There's really not a lot to break down here, but I'm going to try my best. 91 points scored is the most against a conference team in the Division I era. And I also tried digging through a few years of the D2 era and could not find anything. I'm sure there's something there, but dude, that's a whole lot of points, especially for a women's game.
Oh, yeah.
And we just dropped that in a conference game. So, yeah, 91 points there. 14 three-pointers is the most since February 4th of 2023. Ellie Brueggemann, a big part of that. She got back on her horse here, 4 of 8 from 3, tied her season high for threes made, and doing it at a 50% clip. Now, she's done it like 3 or 4 times this year, but this is only the second time she shot 50% while putting up 4.
Okay.
And then also, Valerie Norwood. We've talked about Brooke Coffey, we've talked about Alicia Jones, but Norwood, she comes into this year kind of a foul machine early on, not really looking amazing at this level, but a freshman.
Yeah.
You know there's growing pains there. Now what you're seeing is a player who is extremely confident, knows she can play at this level, knows what she's doing, and is contributing on a nightly basis. I love seeing that. This team brought in Alicia Jones, completely supplemented the roster. You got another scorer out here who I believe is leading the team in scoring, if not close with Brooke Coffey.
Yeah.
You get that. Great. I mean, that's exactly what this team needed. Then you add a freshman who's getting hot late in the season who can just come off the bench and help the team out in any way, shape, or form. Dude, I mean, that is what this team's been missing. One player off the bench that can really contribute, and you're getting that now? And it's not like this is the only game. I understand Tennessee State, a lot of points given up. They didn't play great. But she's been doing this. She's been getting slowly better, slowly more confident. And I absolutely love seeing that because I've been having my doubts about this team a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, the last part I have on them, I know there wasn't supposed to be a lot of analysis, but there is. The whole bench got to come into this one. And Constantina Mazziori, 7 points in 8 minutes on 100% shooting. That is, it's pretty solid for someone who has not played many minutes all season.
No.
Garbage time, I understand that. But to come in 8 minutes, put up 7 points, do the math on that.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable, but if you're at home, do the math on that. That's a whole lot of points that she could have put up. Yeah, it's against the other team's bench, whatever. But I'm just happy to see some people getting playing time and to see some positive signs for the future because that's really what this team needs.
Well, and I mean, that last little bit you threw in there, 100% field goal percentage. That means in those last 8 minutes, if she went for a shot, she made it. No misses.
Yep.
So, like, may not be sustainable. However, the fact that within 8 minutes you still have 100% completion or like 100% shoot rate, that's impressive no matter what. I'll tell you now, I couldn't do it.
No.
I couldn't. I'd go for a layup and I'd miss the layup.
Like to come off the bench though, you weren't expecting to start.
Exactly.
I like seeing that. I know it's a very small sample size. It means actually nothing. Like it literally means nothing. I just bring it up because I think it's cool.
Oh, it's very cool. All right. So we broke it down. We got into the semantics of it all. But now let's get into our predictions and the games that are coming up next. Now, just like their just like the men's team, they are going to be playing the University of Southern Indiana in Evansville, Indiana, and Morehead State in Morehead, Kentucky. Now, the University of Southern Indiana game, that is going to be on ESPN Plus, and that is going to be at 5 p.m. on Thursday. So go ahead and watch that if you want. That's like right after classes. Just go for it. Morehead State, that game, earlier start time, that's going to be at 12 p.m. Central, our time, and that is also going to be on ESPN Plus. Now, just like with the men's basketball, I am 2-0 from last week on the women's basketball. I learned from my mistakes. I did good this past week. So we're going to, again, keep that going with another 2 wins. Maybe I'm just feeling that, 2-0 vibe. But another 2 wins here. W at Southern Indiana and a win at Morehead State. Southern Indiana, they are 14-5. They're 8-2 in the conference, and scarily, they are 9-2 at their own arena. However, Lindenwood did beat them earlier in the year with a scoreline of 75-65, and if the Lions could keep up their late season momentum, this should be a very close game, but I think it can still be a very winnable game, especially since you already know this team, you already know how they're going to play, you've been able to incorporate other players into your play style that earlier in the season they couldn't account for. So I think you have that element of surprise with some of these new players. So I definitely think this is a big winner for Lindenwood, and maybe not like score-wise big, but, within the conference big. Morehead, though, they are 12-9, 7-3 in conference and at home. That is their record for both. They barely scraped a win against Lindenwood last time with a 51-50 scoreline, but they have won 5 of their 6 and are going to give Lindenwood a very rough time, I believe, because coming out of that big sort of win window, that's not for nothing. Like, when you have that momentum, it's gonna feel good. However, like last time, they barely scraped out a win. 51-50, that is like way too close. And harken back to my point for Southern Indiana, new players that are starting to get their footing, that are starting to understand that they could play college ball. I think those players are going to come in and be like, hey, you beat us. We're going to show you why we should have won that game. So I do think that they're going to get it together for Morehead as well. So give me the W for both of them.
Well, I'll start off with the Southern Indiana game. I'm going with the W in that one. I mean, the last time they played, you already mentioned it, they won by 10 at home. We're on the road now. But in that game, Lindenwood only shot 26% from 3. That is not a good number. That's not what this team has done most of the season, and they still won that game handedly.
Yeah.
Checked the lineup, looked for some injuries. Both sides had all their star players playing. Lindenwood just outplayed them. I think they're going to do it again, and yeah, USI is good. Record-wise, they're a really solid basketball team. They had a 5-game win streak, and then they just lost it a game ago to Western Illinois, who was the top team in the conference. No shame there.
No, none at all.
But Lindenwood is also coming off of a week where they just demolished everyone and played great basketball. They're feeling good about themselves. The whole team has to be riding high. You get a team that just kind of got skill-checked. They thought maybe they were the number 1 team in the conference. They have one of the best players in the conference.
Yeah.
And they lost. Lost their win streak, lost their mojo. And they're also kind of squeaking by some bad teams. Like, they had a win streak and everything, but some of the teams they played, bottom of the conference, and they weren't beating the brakes off of them.
No.
They didn't Tennessee State them. Like, we beat the crap out of Tennessee State, and I believe they only won within 10. Trap games happen, I understand all of that, and Tennessee State just had a bad day.
Yeah.
But Lindenwood against the lesser foes seems to be the better team. They won last time, so give me Lindenwood in this one. They got the momentum, they got the swag coming in. I like them here. Now, Morehead State. The last time we played them was one of the worst basketball games I have ever watched in my entire life. Sloppy.
Yeah.
No rebounding. Turnovers. Nobody could make a shot. Everything was going down to the shot clock, and it was some of the worst basketball you could watch. at this level from this team.
Yeah.
Keep it in context because this is about all I watch is Lindenwood hoops. Let's look at this one. Lindenwood, better in most statistical categories, but Morehead State just wins more games.
Yeah.
They somehow find ways to win. That is a skill to have. Not every team has it. They certainly do. But the last time they played, a lot of things went against Lindenwood. I'm just like, you cannot. How are you supposed to recover when half your team is sick, recovering from that, and then you have one of your best players go down with an injury who has not come back yet? And it looked very serious in the moment that she had to be carried off the court. You're already playing like crap. You feel like crap. And now you see one of your teammates get carried off. I don't blame them for that.
No.
I really don't. I mean, they played from behind. They started off slow. That's what you expect when a team's coming back from all of that. They really couldn't adjust their defense and got dominated in the paint because their paint presence, her leg exploded.
Yeah.
Respectfully. And luckily she's back and she's walking around outside, without crutches and everything, but she's not playing.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason why we need all these people to step up, and they have. Anyways, I just look at that last matchup and say that was fluky. Fluke game. Morehead State caught this team at the absolute worst time where they were second-guessing themselves. They lose a player. Nobody feels good. The whole game was a complete disaster.
Oh, yeah.
You can call it cope. You can call it whatever you want. I'm taking Lindenwood in this one. They got to get their get back.
Oh, yeah.
1,000,000%. I know that there is still something in the back of all the players' minds saying, dude, that basketball game sucked. That was bad. I'm ashamed that I played in that game. They played great afterwards. They figured things out. I love this team. I love where they're going. Give me a W.
Oh, yeah. No, I definitely think that this one is just kind of like you said, it was a very bad mental game. And the fact that they barely lost a very bad mental game, they are not going to beat this Lindenwood team in full swing. So, yeah, that is a win. Now, speaking of, wins and, teams that have them, bad segue, but I mean, this team is kind of in the winning column.
Half the time they're in the winning column.
Half the time they're in the winning column. And that seems to continue this week, and we, of course, are talking about men's ice hockey. The men's team is currently 12-12. Last week they were 11-11. And still 7-7 at home and 5-5 at away now. I don't know what to say. Like, we predicted 2 wins. We're like, oh, they're gonna get it. They're gonna get into the winning column, and they're like, no, we're gonna prove you wrong. We're just gonna stay 500 the whole time. And I'm like, man, come on, you could have won.
Well, I mean, I can explain it for you. I'll get there though with my analysis.
Yeah, let me break it down overall, and then you go ahead and give analysis. Game 1 was a very disappointing loss with a 2-5 scoreline coming out of Fairbanks, with the star of the game being Clayton Knapp with 29 saves. Game 2, they turned it around and won 7-4, and Liam Bierman actually started to show off his skills with 31 saves. So, I mean, they haven't improved over 500. What's the stats beyond the 2 games over the past weekend?
Well, first of all, Bierman got to start again, which I think is fun because he had not in a while. He got back-to-back series out of Knapp, and then kind of game 1, I mean, I didn't get to see the shots.
Mm-hmm.
The highlights weren't posted. I just can't afford flow hockey. But, I mean, you can see with the stats here. I mean, they had 5 shots on goal in the first period. Not good. They were 1 for 6 on the power play against the top 5 most penalized team in the entire country. Not good. And they went 0 for 1 on their own penalty kill. Not good.
No.
A whole lot of not good. And then let's add on the fact that they could not maintain possession because they were 35% from the faceoff dot. Maybe the eye test tells you something different, but the numbers are telling me game 1 was a low-effort, jet-lag type of game. I mean, they flew to Alaska. Let me tell you, as someone who has flown from Alaska, bro, it's a lot.
Yeah. No,
it's a long flight.
Oh, I know.
Have you been?
No, I've flown to Hawaii.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You understand.
I understand.
So, yeah, I understand it a little bit. But game 2, they figured things out. Their special teams deserves a steak dinner. They went 8 of 9 on the penalty kill, 6 of 7 by the Lindenwood 6-7 cert, by the way. It's in stores. 6 of 7 in the third period. Yes, it's a real shirt. It's a real thing, yes.
I know. I'm so disappointed.
But that's actually crazy. 7 penalties in the third period. What are we doing? How do you take 7 in the third? And how do you kill 6 of them? Very impressive. I love that. Keep that up at least. And then they went 2 of 6 on the power play in this one. 2 goals, 1 assist from Jacob Fletcher, powered a 4-goal third period, which is the most goals in a third period in Division I history. And to find that, I had to dig through every single game we've ever played because no one posted that stat anywhere. So give me some credit. That's why we were late on the show today, because I was finding stats like that one right there.
Alrighty, so we're not going to do ice hockey predictions. However, we will give you the updates into the standings of the predictions, and that is I am 3-1. I am 1-1 coming out of it, and he is now 2-2. So he is,
upset and sad.
Upset and sad and imitating.
I love hockey, man.
You
and
do.
the Blues are awful. And I just want to be good at something related to hockey. I either want to play beer league one day and be good at it, which is not realistic. Equipment is too expensive. Have Lindenwood win a bunch of games, which they seem to just win one, lose one, which is actually really good for what they are.
Oh, yeah.
At this level, at this time, I'm taking a 500 team. I'm happy.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to win something related to hockey. Maybe we'll win the lottery this year. The Blues will win the draft, and we'll end up getting McKenna. That'll be great.
That's wishful thinking.
Or one of the Stenberg kid.
So we're not going to do the predictions, but we are at least going to tell you when the next games are. The next 2 games are going to be this Friday, not this Friday and Saturday, next week, Friday and Saturday. So even if we did do predictions, we wouldn't be able to do anything till next week anyway. So next week, Friday and Saturday, they are going to be at Stonehill College in northeastern Massachusetts at 6 p.m. start time, both of those. So, and I'm assuming those will be on the Flow Hockey app if you want to go over and get
a
yourself
lot of money to watch.
Subscription to Flow Hockey to watch the games. You can definitely do that. But that'll be next week's.
And we can finally maybe not be 500. It's Stonehill, hoping for the best in that one, but we'll get more updates as next week rolls around.
Exactly. And now for the highlight sport of the episode, because we had Miss Molly Henderson in, women's ice hockey, we are finally to. So the women's team right now is 9-17-2 and 7-10-1 in the conference. They traveled to Syracuse over the bitterly cold weekend and barely lost the first game, 1-2, even though Lexington Secreto had 35 saves.
I meant to ask today how to pronounce that. I haven't seen a pronunciation guide. I'm going to assume it's Secreto. Still a very cool name. Lexington
Still
Secreto.
35 saves, which is awesome. Great stat line.
Great segue.
Game 2, the Lions turned it around. 4-0 score, with Molly Henderson being the star of that game with 2 goals and assisting on the other 2 as well. We did mention that in the interview, and thank you, Miss Molly. You definitely showcased your talents in that third period. That was awesome to see. So, you want to break it down analytically?
Yeah, I think game 1 was a good game. I think they played a really solid hockey game for about 2 periods. But the power play, as she mentioned, special teams just not really working for them. They went 0 for 3, only 2 shots. Mm-hmm. I like to see multiple shots per power play, and yet we're having some power plays where we're getting nothing. Got to work on that, especially when it's a sport where it's not as physical. There's not that hitting aspect of it. Teams just can't wear you down over the course of a game. Dude, it's the power play. They can't be physical with you. They can't hit you. You got to find a way to spread that puck around and get open looks. They couldn't do it in that one. 0 for 3. And then Lucy Quarto. Dude, she has a criminal rap sheet now in my mind. Slashing, which allowed to a... So, okay, let me go through all these penalties. So she committed slashing, which resulted in a power play goal to start the third. So now Lindenwood is trailing. Then she boards someone, gets a game misconduct, and then Syracuse scores 3 seconds after the penalty is over. It happens. Sometimes you're not having a good day.
Yeah.
I understand exactly where she's coming from. The last week or so for me, nothing went right.
Yeah.
She had a third period where nothing went right out as well. So it happens, and I'm sure she's going to bounce back. But in this one, those mistakes are what cost the team.
Yeah.
And, special teams that tried to hang in there just couldn't get it done. They kept fighting till the very end of the game, got a goal late. Okay, whatever. It's a game. It's a conference game. It's a close one. You lost it in the third period. Next game, scoreless through 2, thanks to Lexi Secreto. She stopped 71 of 73 shots throughout the series. Guys, I personally voted for her to win Player of the Week. She didn't. But dude, that's insane. Like in this one, 37 save shutout. Incredible performance from her. Kept the team alive. Speaking of keeping the team alive, the players in front of her, 21 blocked shots in this one. There was already a lot of shots. 37 is a lot for hockey.
Oh, yeah.
But 21 blocked in front. Everyone wanted to win this game. They played tough. They played hard to the very end. And then, of course, Molly, she came through with her 4-point third period, winning them the game. So my final analysis, I think both games were well played. Mistakes are still plaguing this team. That's going to happen. This team has not figured out a way to win in program history. This year, they're maybe getting a sniff of that. Reminds me a lot of my sophomore year where you started to see the basketball team just start to figure out a few things here and there, maybe start to become something. Then they get some recruits in the next year, and all of a sudden they're a powerhouse.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping, and I think this could be the start here as long as it doesn't fly off the rails in their last few games.
I was about to say, especially with the two French national players, again, congratulations to them. Like she was saying, the two that they brought in from Europe. So I think the recruiting is going to start to get a lot more aggressive, especially now that Lindenwood is D1. And I definitely think that this program, I still have till 2028 here.
Damn.
Yeah. I've still got till 2028 here. So I will be privy to see this team develop and grow over the next couple years, unlike yourself.
I'll keep an eye on it. Maybe I'll actually have a job and I can afford Flow Hockey or something.
There you go.
Or maybe I'll get a job at Flow Hockey and fix the broadcasts.
Be that angry director. You'll be their Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, I'll be something because, and this is just a hot take here and it's unrelated before we get to predictions. If you have a broadcast team on campus and a comm program, why are they not the ones working the games when you are broadcasting? Get them under contract. Find a loophole. That's all I'm asking.
It's all I'm asking.
Please and thank you. As a senior, I respect everyone who's ever done work on these broadcasts. Mm-hmm. I know people that have been on the call, like Jacob Stonick, like Daniel Hinkamp. They do a great job, and they should continue to call it. But from the production side and the equipment side, we have good equipment here at Lindenwood. Let's bring that over. Let's find ways to schedule it, and let's help them out.
I was about to say, have a traveling broadcast crew.
That would require a traveling truck, which costs a whole lot of money.
It would.
But if we had it, dude, we could do everything. Hell, we could travel and do away broadcast if we really wanted, which would be a lot.
Yeah.
And we have a fly pack. We have the means to do it. Anyways, I'm a nerd, and I am currently venting all of my frustrations with the world.
But
let's vent about some predictions.
Speaking of traveling, they don't have to travel this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Great segue. Come on now. Come on.
They don't have to travel this weekend. Yeah, I thought it was good. That was an awful high five.
I was trying to dap you up, too. Yeah, I was doomed from the start.
So they don't have to travel this weekend, thankfully. They're going to be here in Maryland Heights at the Centene Community Ice Center, both Friday and Saturday. Now, the Friday game, both are going to be against RIT. The Friday game starts at 3 p.m. Just go to the Centene Community Ice Center. It's on Flow Hockey if you want to stay home. Just go to the game.
We're going.
Yeah. RIT, though, on Saturday, that is the Cancer Awareness Day, and that is also at the Centene Community Ice Center. So just swing on by. Just swing on by. It's right in the middle of the day. I guarantee you have nothing going on in the middle of the day on a Saturday.
What time is it again?
At 1 p.m.
Okay, so we're going to the Saturday one.
Yeah.
Because Friday, we're going to get to it. We got some volleyball going on, and I'm working.
Fun. So And again, Saturday is their Cancer Awareness Day, so go ahead and support that team that, they will be there.
Wear some pink.
Yeah, dress in pink. So, into the predictions. I am 4-0. I have not missed
Yeah, good for you, man.
on my predictions for women's ice hockey, and I wear that badge proudly. However, my prediction this week is not going to be a positive one. I am actually predicting that we lose the weekend. We just lose the weekend outright. They split the series the last time they played Lindenwood. Game 1 ended with the Lions win 3-0, while Game 2 ended with a 7-1 Lions loss. They are coming off of a 4-0 win against Brown University, and RIT has a 7-5 winning record while playing in opposing arena, so they're actually better away than they are at their own home. But at the same time, kind of like you brought up with the stats, the penalties are they're killer. They're killer for the Lions right now, and they need to clean those up before they start winning against a team that plays those big colleges like that and actually beats those big colleges.
Well, because, like you say, yeah, penalties are a problem.
Yeah.
It's going to happen when you just don't have the talent and you're chasing all game and you're really pushing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It happens.
Yeah.
But what can't happen is what happened in the second game of the series. You can't have the too many men penalties. Like, you can't have the procedural stuff. That is something that you can clean up easily. Any hockey team worth their salt, worth their ice, worth their whatever, they can figure it out. So I need to see that moving forward. But I'm going to be more optimistic than you because, quite frankly, I need some help as well. I'm currently sitting at 1-3. Last weekend, I picked the games opposite. I thought we'd win the first one, lose the second one. Of course, the opposite ends up happening. And now I am 1-3 and look clueless. So I'm going with the W in game 1 and L in game 2. Oh, okay.
Sorry, I just had to get the laugh in there.
I'm glad you did. Get it out now, because next week I'll be the one laughing here.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So, RIT, as a team, they are very middling. I mean, yeah, they're better than Lindenwood up and down the lineup. They have that random ability to drop a bunch of goals. You see it in a few games this year. They've dropped 7. They've dropped 8. It just comes out of nowhere, where the first game seems so close and so competitive. In the second game, they're like, oh, we're really good. We should play like it.
Yeah.
And then they score a bunch of goals. In this series, I feel like it might be more of the same. Lindenwood has momentum coming in. They're playing better hockey. They're playing really tough hockey, which I think is going to take RIT by surprise. Lindenwood is not known for that.
No.
Lindenwood usually lays down and dies. The last few weeks, we've seen something change. There's been a fire lit under this team. They're skating harder. They're playing harder. You're seeing the stats start to swing more in their favor at the end of these games. Yes, special teams are a problem. Bad teams usually struggle with that. But we're seeing improvement.
Yeah.
I don't know if RIT's ready for that in game 1. I'm getting Lindenwood. I'm giving them a win. Hopefully they win game 2. I don't think they will. We're going to be in attendance, so I really hope they do, but I don't see it.
Well, and that is honestly very valid. Though valid concerns. But yeah, if you want to go watch those, Centene Community Ice Center this weekend. Both Friday, Saturday. Friday game 3 p.m., Saturday game 1 p.m. Go out there and support your Lindenwood Lions women's ice hockey.
Here, you want to hear the worst segue ever?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, you know how that's very valid?
How?
You know what else starts with V? Volleyball.
Oh my goodness. All right, yeah, I guess we're segue into volleyball with that.
You gave me the nastiest look ever.
Yeah, that was a segue and a half. So anyway, the men's volleyball, they're 4-1 on the season now, coming off of the sweep against Quincy University, which both of us predicted. Neither one of us were shocked that Quincy, lost that game. Owen Walsh had 8 kills and 2 blocks, and Zach Solomon pushed through for his team with 34 assists. And yeah, both of us definitely hit our predictions, and it was a big ol' nothing burger of a match. It was 1, 2, 3, done, go on home.
Yeah, pack it up. See you later, Quincy. Drove through that city on the way up to Quad Cities. Looking on the map, there wasn't a whole lot there. Gonna be real. And there's definitely not a good volleyball team. I'm sorry, that's too much. Yeah, okay. I don't know, man. It was really tough for me to not put Zach Solomon back on the list, but dude was farming so many likes the last 2 weeks and so many votes on our poll. It's like,
people like volleyball.
No, he deserves it. He's an amazing player.
People
but
love
I know
the
that for the
volleyball.
rest of the year, he's consistently going to be in the running for Player of the Week.
We need to let other people have a shot.
Right. And then I say that, and I'm also like, hey, Alicia Jones, get back on the list. Hey, Molly Henderson, back on the list, Maybe I have some problems with putting the list together. I'll work on it. All right.
We'll get there.
But like you said, 3 sets and you're done. The first set worried me a tiny bit. It felt like it was the old Lindenwood, the team we're used to from last year, the one that makes too many mistakes, the one that will win but doesn't convince you of anything.
Yeah.
Sets 2 and 3, yeah, they took care of business. Now, was it them playing good? A little bit. Was it mainly Quincy playing really bad volleyball? Yes, yeah, it was mainly that. Because they really struggled. But big stat from this one, something that has never happened in the Division I era, and man, we got a lot of firsts this week. They had more aces than service errors, 12 aces, 11 errors. It was something to watch. Watch this team over the last few years just go all out and say, we want aces. We're going to be aggressive on serves, and then just commit a billion errors and it doesn't feel like it's worth it.
Yeah.
Having a game where you had more aces than errors is insane.
Oh, yeah.
That does not happen.
No.
We've had good teams. First time in the Division I era that's happened. That's extremely rare. I don't expect it moving forward, but I like to see that the guys are confident enough to continue to attack aggressively on these serves.
No, they played great. They played awesome, and it definitely shows why Lindenwood is one of those ranked teams. It feels good to have a little number right before you. So let's go ahead and get into the predictions, and this will be the last predictions before we hop into the other new exciting news, and then the rest of the show as well. I won my prediction I think we both won our prediction last week. So we should both be up to 2-1.
We are. Had to update it. My bad.
No, you're good. Rockhurst is, however, they are playing Rockhurst University. They're playing them at 7 p.m. this Friday at the Robert F. Highland Arena. So go ahead and go check that out. Rockhurst is currently sitting at 3-4 with their 3 wins coming against Concordia University and Central State University. Concordia is currently 3-2 with Rockhurst being their home opener. Their second loss was to number 1 UCLA and then went on a 3-0 tear with one of their opponents being number 18 Princeton, who they beat 3-0. And Central State is 0-4 with losses coming from Ohio State, Long Beach, who Lindenwood lost to start the season, so they have a common loss. And then back-to-back losses against Rockhurst. Now, all that to say, right, Rockhurst has had they've had some games that they've won that are valid games. They've played an opponent that is pretty good and has beat ranked teams. However, some of their wins are also against teams that are bottom of the barrel.
That works.
So it is very flip-flop on whether or not they're actually good or not. I think Lindenwood is a good middle-of-the-road team, and I'm not saying our team is middle-of-the-road. I'm just saying I think Lindenwood would be a good sort of gauge to see where this team is. And for me, they're still going to lose. They are going to go 3-5. Lindenwood is going to progress. And it is a win against Rockhurst University this weekend.
And guess what? You automatically take a loss because you forgot to put another team in there.
No.
Yep.
Oh, Missouri S&T, you are correct.
So I'll give everyone the lowdown on that since you couldn't be bothered to add it on there.
I flubbed it.
It happens.
I did.
It's not a big deal, but
It be what it be.
you are taking an L.
I'm taking an L. I'll gladly take an L on that one.
But we'll start off with Rockhurst. Common enemy was Vanguard. Lindenwood played Vanguard. We beat the crap out of them. And Rockhurst did not. Lost 3-1 to them on the season. So I look at that, and does it mean anything? Not really, unless you really want to look into it. I just see that and say, if Lindenwood could easily beat that foe, and they're struggling that much against them, maybe there's something there. But I feel like Lindenwood just has momentum overall. they've been a real buzzsaw at home the last few years. Mm-hmm. They're not playing their hard games at home. I understand that. But in their own gym, they're one of the better teams around, at least record-wise. I think they take the W versus Rockhurst. Now, Missouri S&T, they got some weird stats on them here. They're going to be playing their second-ranked team in as many days. They got McKendree the day before, and then Lindenwood. Now, I'm going to assume they're going to lose to McKendree because McKendree is always good at volleyball. They always have a good squad. They're always ranked for a reason. I feel like if they play well, they push it late, they get it to 5 sets, they're going to be tired. If they lose in 3, dude, they're going to be demoralized. They're not going to want to play another ranked team the next day. They're going to say, dude, the weekend sucks. Let's get it over with. Let's get out of here. And I really think that this is a team that has struggled in the past. I know. They're 0-9 versus ranked teams since last season, and they've only won 3 sets in all of those matches. So they get swept a lot. They lay down and die. Lindenwood, we are a ranked team, in case you forgot.
Yeah?
I like our chances here. We're going 2-0 this week. I automatically win unless something terrible happens, which I don't see happening. Why did I put that in the universe?
I was about to say, we might be tied.
I'm going WW here. There is
fair.
no E, though.
No E. No WWE, just WW. Alrighty. So that is our predictions, and that is the major news for NCAA sports here on campus. However, we have more news for NCAA, and this is for upcoming or for the next season of sports, and I'll go ahead and kick us off specifically with baseball. That's right, the baseball season is going to be starting up soon, and especially with the Am Singer series this, past week or two being so popular here on campus because it was hosted here. Chaim Bloom was able to come talk, as well as Ollie Marmol about the future of Cardinals baseball. We both have some very negative opinions of Ollie Marmol.
What? Don't put that on me. I made the face. There's some good things there.
Okay.
I mean, think about it. The GM, and I know Greg said this,
Yeah.
could have picked a new coach. Stuck
could've.
with him. He had
should've.
every right to do it.
But see, this is where I have an issue with that. He has 1 year left on his contract. Why not just wait him out and then get a new one instead of kicking him to the curb? He probably has a golden parachute in his contract to where he still gets paid, so you have him on payroll while he's not working for you and all that. I have a lot of issues with that. But anyway, they were here. They were talking about the new era of Cardinals baseball. So let's talk about the new era of Lindenwood baseball coming up. Josh Newell was predicted to win the conference's Pitcher of the Year award for the second consecutive season, while Will Geary was tabbed as a projected Freshman of the Year. The team was picked to finish 6th in the site's predicted order of finish. The Lions get the 2026 season underway on Friday, February 13th at Arkansas Pine Bluff. And James, from what I understand, you will actually be in attendance with a good buddy of ours, Lucas. So
yeah, I'll get you guys some inside scoops. Hopefully gets to use some sound bites out of that one.
Oh, yeah.
Should be a good weekend, and I'm expecting some W's there. And all of that is provided by D1 Baseball. That is their report, not the conference. We don't have the preseason poll yet. Mm-hmm. We also don't have the preseason poll for lacrosse. We also don't have it for softball. OVC and then the ASUN. That's lacrosse. Guys, the season's coming around. We need stuff to talk about. Give us the poll. Anyways, big news for them. I think Will Geary is a huge pickup for this team. Just looking at his high school stats, his club stats, I believe he hit 390-something in his independent league.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The guy can hit.
Oh, yeah.
Team could hit last year too, but I'm just really excited to see where he goes in his career. Hopefully he stays here at Lindenwood. Mm-hmm. And then also Josh Newell, he's just incredible. On my side of the news, congratulations to associate head coach Nat Hubert of the men's soccer team. Lindenwood men's soccer coach Chris Birch has announced that assistant coach Nat Hubert has been promoted to associate starting in the 2026 season, which is a big honor for him.
Oh, yeah.
Assistant, yeah, you're kind of just the coach's dog. I mean, you just kind of do whatever, run this drill, do this, do that. As an associate head coach, he now has head coach in the title. He has a lot to say. And I think this could be a sign of the future. And I kind of want to ask you about this.
Yeah.
You see Chris Birch do this after he just made the NCAA tournament. Now he's promoting a guy, and it seems like he might be getting him ready to move up. At least that's the way I see it. Do you see it that way?
I think this might be one of those moves where, hey, you did really good last year as my associate or as like my assistant coach. Let's move you up to where you're the associate head coach, have you under my wing for like a year or two, and then, all right, I'm a bow out, and then head into retirement, you know.
Oh, he's just going to go to another school. He loves soccer.
Oh,
he's not going to retire. That's what I'm thinking. He's going to get this guy ready and move up.
This is definitely training the new guard, essentially. This is going to be a passing of the torch moment that we see within the next year or two. I think next season it is just going to be simply a, here's how I run the system, here's how you should run the system. This is, you know, what I look for in this player and this player and this player. This is how I, you know, try to recruit this player, this player, this player, and basically try to hand all that down. And then the year after, maybe let him have a little bit more control. Or by year 2, he's just like, all right, I've taught you all I needed to teach you. I'm leaving. Bye. Your team now. And I definitely think it's possible. I still think give it 2 years. 2 years and he'll probably be the head coach. But as of right now, yeah, this is definitely a passing of the torch, training the new guy, you know, training the new replacement deal.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you. I don't know 100%, and I'm not going to speak until I know 1,000,000% if he's going to move up or what the plan is. But what I do know is you guys voted. You guys told us. Now, coming up next, we got your 3 stars of the week.
It's time for the 3 stars of the week.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, Justin.
Yeah.
Things were very last second this week, as we know, and we're doing this on the fly, straight off of Instagram. So if you guys want to vote in these polls in the future, all of our Instagram links will be in the description of the Roar Network video. Also, go subscribe over there. It's where all of the comm program stuff gets posted, including the Amzinger series, so definitely check that one out. But we're going to go take a look at the poll right now, and our 3rd star of the week is Alicia Jones. Yippee. So she just had an amazing week. And Justin, you got the post pulled up?
I do, yeah. So Alicia Jones, she averaged 27 points per game, set a career high of 32 points versus Texas Tech University. Tennessee Tech University, you are right. I don't know, Tejas. Tennessee Tech University, which is also a team high. So Alicia Jones, she is the 3rd star. You want to kick us into the 2nd star?
Oh, of course. Well, our 2nd star is Aeneas Futrell. Big props to him this week. He just played out of his mind. Unfortunately, the first half of that final game did not go the way he wanted. Couldn't make any shots. Second half came alive, helped keep his team in it. Back-to-back 25-point games this week, and he is your OVC Player of the Week. But I think we got to get a drum roll in here for our Player of the Week, although I think everyone knows who it probably is. Your Player of the Week is
none other than Molly Henderson, the guest of the show today. She had that 4-point third period in a 4-0 win at Syracuse, 2 goals, 2 assists. She was consistently there for the team the entire weekend. I mean, there's not really much more you can say about her. She is just overall one of their best players, and she is the top star of the week here on the Lions Den.
Well, now we got to start shifting things over to the whole team. And I am shocked by this. Only 4 votes this week on this poll. The player votes always seem to get a lot more. I'm assuming friends and family are chipping in. But on the team vote, somebody voted for other. And I know who that was, and they voted for the Lindenwood comm program, which, no. We had a vote for the men's ice hockey team, who I don't know. I mean, I feel like we expected a sweep. We wanted a sweep. I shouldn't say expect, but we were thinking it was possible. Didn't get it done, had a great second game. But your team of the week, drumroll please, is
women's basketball. I mean, we talked them up very highly, and it is very much like this was their week. They had great showings on the court. They were able to win those games. They swept Tennessee State and Tennessee Tech at home, and now they're third place in the OVC.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning into the show here today. Remember, if you want to vote in the future or you have someone you want to be a part of the show, we are actively posting now on Instagram at James Zugmeyer, at Jetkin4, and of course, check out the Roar Network YouTube channel if you missed anything from today's show. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in. Justin, any final thoughts?
Thank you all for listening, and please go vote on those polls. We would love to see who you guys want to see on the show next week. Hasta la bye-bye.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to The Lions Den. We're on air every Tuesday at 6 p.m. right here on the Tower, and all recordings are on the Roar Network YouTube channel. Have a great rest of your evening, and go Lions!